97.1, good to have you with us. Very pleased to welcome in head coach Michigan State football, 11 wins, Peach Bowl, a lot of excitement. Mel Tucker joins us on the show. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Excellent. I wanted to ask you a question because I've seen a couple of the videos and sound bites, this phrase, stay uncomfortable. And look, incredible year last year. How challenging is it? A lot of these players, that was their first taste of success, to kind of keep that edge, keep the chip on the shoulder, and move this thing forward. How challenging is that as you head into this season?
I think it's always a challenge, no matter how much success you've had, any season, any year. I think it's just human nature to seek comfort, and so we certainly can't afford to do that. And so, our program is set up for our players not to be comfortable, and also the coaches, including myself. I mean, for us to seek comfort would be insane. We have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I can see that, and we have to work hard to get better every day and keep a chip on our shoulder and be hungry, and not be complacent in anything we do any day.
Coach, talking about your success, I mean, going from year one to year two, you had a ton of success, losing record, New Year's Six bowl game. Can you specifically say, how do you replicate that and exceed it for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was just talking to one of my players. That's why I couldn't get on with you at 4:15. It kind of ran over a little bit, but we have a process, right? We already stated our goals. Our goal as a program is to win every game on our schedule. That's going to be like that every season. Okay, so now once we state the goal, we don't need to talk about it anymore. It's about, okay, what is the process? What do we have to do on a day-to-day basis? How do we connect to our burn? Every day. We're like, why are we doing what we're doing? How do we stay hungry? How do we work? How do we improve our technique and fundamentals? How do we play smarter? How do we play fast? How do we play physical? Like, what is the process? What do you have to do on a day-to-day basis, to get what we want? And it's the choices and decisions that we make daily that lead to behaviors and actions, which in turn lead to outcomes. And so, how do we exceed? Listen, it's one play at a time, 6 seconds of play.
Coach, what can you tell us? A lot happened last year. Kenneth Walker transferred in. I don't think anybody saw what was going to happen on the very first play of the game, 75 yards to the house. What can you tell us about the two incoming running back transfers that you have?
Well, they're good players. Berger's a good player. Broussard's a good player. They're competing. They're hard workers. Elijah Collins, Jordan Simmons, Harold Joyner, all competing. I like what I've seen so far. But we have to have a good offensive line play. The receivers and tight ends have to block. And we have to have really good practices and make each other better. To get the productivity in the run game that we know that we need. We need to have balance on offense. We need to be able to run the ball on our terms, when we want to run it and when we need to run it. And, people always ask me, like on a daily basis, maybe even a few times a day, about Ken Walker. Well, listen, how many Ken Walkers are there out there like that? I mean, he was the best running back in college football, arguably. So we need our guys to be productive, and they're good players, and so they take care of the football, and run the rock the way it's supposed to be run. We'll be in good shape.
Coach Mel Tucker, Michigan State University, joining us. And you mentioned it. There is no like one-off replacement. I mean, he was a generational running back. It's interesting because I've heard your offensive coordinator Jay Johnson say it, how the tight end kind of unlocks the rest of the offense. You guys brought in a transfer in Daniel Barker from Illinois. Is there a chance that is what kind of, through moves like that, you begin to now again dictate to defenses what they do and put them in uncomfortable spots in a different way, but getting the same result as when K9 was there?
Yeah, the bottom line is the overall production, and in the run game, in the pass game, how efficient we are, what type of balance we're able to have, how do we take advantage of matchups, take advantages of what we see on tape, like, where we can be effective, whether it's the pass game or the run game. And so you need good players to be able to do that. You need good players like all throughout your offense, whether receivers, tight ends, the backs, the line. You have to have really good quarterback play. You need guys that can win one-on-one. So we feel like we have guys that have the potential to be able to give people problems, one-on-one in the pass game. Be hardcore and physical and tough in the run game. We have receivers that we feel like can win one-on-one. We have backs, quarterback that can be efficient, that can lead, that can compete at a high level. Can do what we need to do. A line that can, like get some movement. Protect the quarterback. We have to get it done as a unit, like as a team. We're not going to leave it up to one guy. That was never our intention ever. It's never been our intention to leave it up to one guy. We can't get it done like that. We're going to have to play complementary football. We're going to have to complement each other. We're going to have to complement each other, offense, defense, and special teams. We're going to have to get it done as a team.
Talking with Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker. And let's go to the other side of the ball, to the defense. And last year, first and second down, you guys were tenacious getting to the quarterback, but you just couldn't get off the field on third and fourth down. You even joked about it at the Big Ten Media Day, saying that the pass defense couldn't get any worse. What are the changes that are going to take place this year? Is it the transfers coming in? Is it the maturation of the existing players? What is it about that defense that's going to be different?
Yeah, well, we couldn't get any worse because we were last. So that's about as low as you can get at that point. So that's just the reality of the situation. We have some new players on defense, some newcomers, and then some of the players that were here before have gotten better, and that's on the D line, the linebackers, and the secondary, we've evaluated everything that we've done, and we worked hard to tighten up those areas and improve, and be able to stop the run, and on first and second down, and be efficient and get them to third and long and get the hell off the field. And get the ball back to our offense, and take the ball away. So that's been a huge point of emphasis for us, and we're working on that today. We had practice this morning, and we're getting after it, and we're going to work on that every single day. We just need to get better. We know. Listen, everybody knows that our pass defense wasn't what it needed to be by any stretch of the imagination. And we need to have our rush and our coverage working together. So. We've got something to prove. There's no doubt about that,
Coach, you had a very busy summer. You were all over social media, whether it was with cars in the stadium, with recruits, you're taking trips. What was the thing that stood out the most this summer for you?
Well, so June was a big month for us because we had official visitors in every single weekend. Like one weekend we had like 14 players and prospects and their families, and it was like that every weekend. And then we had camps going on. We had unofficials coming in during the week, so it was recruiting, wall to wall, day in and day out, and that's the lifeblood of our organization. We need to be able to get the best players in order to get what we want, to have the type of program we want. And what stood out to me was that there's players from, East Coast, West Coast, North, South, very interested in Michigan State, and we're in the mix with a lot of really, really good football players. We have some commitments from some we don't have yet, but we're in the game, and that was the goal. The goal was to go out and target the best players, and go after and get those guys. Figure out a way to find a way to get it done, to finish first in these recruiting battles, which are they're long battles, they're ruthless battles in recruiting, NIL, it's become a huge thing in recruiting now. So it's treacherous, but we're in it to win it. We need to get the best players, and so that's what we did. And a lot of those players were on campus in June here, and they're gonna be here in the fall. They're gonna come watch us play. And after the season, we're going to have some official visits. We're going to keep pounding. We're going to keep hammering to make sure we get the best players in here.
Coach, you mentioned NIL, and you just you use the word treacherous, and I mean we talk about it all the time, obviously with what we do for a living, and it's already challenging enough to find kids who can play. Then it's challenging to find kids. Okay, can I seal the deal? Do they have interest in coming to my school? I mean, how much of an added layer is there with this, where now there's this extra silo of where a kid's intentions lie, and then you have to sort through that through the other process?
Yeah, at what point do you just throw your hands up in the air and say, yeah, we're out?
No, we don't do that. We're not throwing our hands up. I mean, they don't sign until December, and then some in February. So there's a long way to go with this, and the key to it is to find out where do the kids want to go to school. Where do they want to play? Aside from NIL, where do they want to go to school? Who do they want to play for? What head coach, coordinator, position coach? Who do they want to sign up? Who do they really trust? Who do they really believe in? Who do they think can really get them where they need to go? That's the key, and it takes. There is an extra layer. It takes more time. I mean, it's like there's a fog a little bit, because there's because of NIL and things like that. It's so you have to sort through it and keep hammering and keep banging, because at the end of the day, the truth comes out. At the end of the day, when it really gets down to it, people are going to go where they feel like they can trust the coaches.
We're talking to Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker. And Coach, one more thing about the NIL. When it comes time for you guys to evaluate, are you seeing almost a different attitude in some kids where it's more about me and my brand and it's less about playing with a team and getting better?
It depends on the player. And so, yes, some guys are more about that, but we're not really hardcore recruiting those guys as much, because we need but there's guys out there that are really working to build their brand, and they're hardcore football guys, and they care about football more than anything in the world. So it's not a bad thing for them to want to build their brand, and we want to help them build their brand once they get here. But we're looking for guys that are going to keep the main thing, and so and there's a lot of guys out there. So everyone's not for us, and so that's part of the evaluation process. And then guys mature. I mean, these are young guys. Some of these guys are 16, 17 years old.
Right.
So sometimes this is like a 2-year process with some of these guys, 3 years. So then maybe it starts off as being part of the brand, and then as they take more visits and they see more things, and then it becomes more real, they start to realize, hey, this is what's really important, and then we help them along the way to see that, So it's a process with it. Then at some point, we have to make a decision. They have to make a decision.
Coach, one thing we talk a ton about, and I mean it's never ending, is the conference expansion. And I mean, obviously, you're old school Big Ten. Both Rico and I, same thing. I never imagined a time we'd be talking about the Big Ten being in California or having 20 teams or 24 teams. I guess as this unfolds now, where is your stance on it, and kind of where you'd like to see it end up versus what may happen?
Yeah, my stance on it is I stay neutral on it, because really no one asks my opinion. Like no one really cares what I think.
Wait, Kevin didn't call you and ask for a consultation?
I usually get like a alert like on Twitter or something. I find out that way. Like no one they don't ask me like what do you want to do, Mel? So that's not something I can control. So I don't even think about it. I look at it and say, okay, what's the truth? What are the facts? Where are we with this? And then now, based upon what's real, what's happening now, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
What's our next best step? And take it that way. And that's the best way for me to proceed. It's a landscape that's changing. Seems like daily. It's so much different now than it was even a year ago, and 2 years ago. 5 years ago. It's totally different. So, and it's going to continue to be that way. And so, we're going to control what we can control over here, and always take the next right step.
Talking with Mel Tucker and Coach, talking about things that you can control. Last year, you gave fans the white state helmets. You gave them the white oversized Gruff Sparty helmet.
Yes.
Is this the season that Michigan State gets the black helmets and/or uniforms?
I can't say that. I don't know that at this moment.
Okay,
but,
just blink twice. Just blink twice.
You cracking me up, man. Hey, but you just made my day, man. That's the funniest thing I've heard all day. Now, I don't know that.
I guess is it still a possibility?
Is it a possibility with you know what? I have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
Because I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the furthest thing from my mind at this point. But I can look into that for you. I'll be happy to do that.
I appreciate
perfect.
that.
That's all we needed to hear. Look, Coach, we really appreciate the time. Obviously, Western Michigan on the mind. We'll talk to you as the season goes along, okay?
Yeah, thanks you so much. Thanks for having me. Go Green.
Yes, sir.
Right, thanks.
Appreciate it.